Hello, I'm Karen Goddard. I come from 90 Breathwork. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do a short breathwork session near the end of the session. But I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about how breathing affects you generally. And obviously, if you're trying to give up smoking, you need a nice clean airway. So this will help. So when we pop out of our mums, the first thing we do is just to take a nice clean breath. And when you look at babies, they breathe very slowly, very deeply, and very calmly. And that's how we should be breathing. Unfortunately, when babies start getting bigger, they somehow, I'm not how they work it out, but they somehow start breathing like the rest of us, very, very shallow. So we actually are using very small amounts of our lung capacity. And that's not how we should be breathing. Naturally, we should be breathing nice, low, slow, and deep. So the reason why you need to breathe that way is because it has an effect on your nervous system. And so if you are breathing very fast or just your normal breathing, you are actually, if you're not breathing low, slow, and deep, you're breathing as a fight and flight way. So your nervous system is in stress mode the whole time. So although you may feel quite calm, if you're not breathing very deep, then that's how you're breathing. So your nervous system obviously affects everything. So if you're in the flight and fight mode the whole time, it's having stress on your heart, it's having stress on all your organs, and it's just not very good for you. So if you can take some time and do some conscious breathing throughout the day, I mean, if you could breathe like that all day, then it would be great. But we are in that really bad pattern. But even if we could just take some time out and do some conscious breathing and just do some nice slow breathing, then that puts you into rest and digest. And that, as it says, means that your body is in recovery mode. So when you sleep, you tend to sleep in that way. You are on rest and digest, which means that you're digesting your food better if you're breathing quite slowly. And again, so that's great for anybody trying to lose weight, which I think the whole world is. And yeah, so it just makes it so much better, but it's just being conscious of it. And it's quite hard to get into that routine. So my routine is I do 5 to 10 minutes when I wake up, nice big deep breathing. And when I go to bed, 5 to 10 minutes, and it just calms everything down. And if I remember in the day, if I'm having a stressful time, I definitely just take a few minutes out and do a couple of recovery breaths. But otherwise, it is just getting into that routine and trying to remember. So if you're putting the kettle on, if I remember, I try to put the kettle on and then just do a couple of deep breaths and just calm myself down and try to connect it with something, and then you will remember.
And if someone was trying to give up smoking, I guess if they feel like a cigarette, then they should definitely try this before reaching for the cigarette.
Absolutely, because that would be the best thing. So should we try just an example? So if you're feeling stressed or like you're just about to have a fag, then cigarette, whatever you want to call it. So I used to be a smoker many years ago, and you still have that moment, don't you, when you think, oh, I'm a bit stressed and I could do something. Actually, if you do this, then it will take that craving away. So it is a nice big belly breath through your nose, because that's where it gets filtered. And if you do to the count of 1, 2, 3, 4 as you're breathing in, so, and then hold for a count of 3, 3, 2, 1, and then exhale through your mouth slowly to the count of 5. So you can do whatever version you want of that. So it's always less going in, a short hold, and then more coming out of the count. So if you do that 4 or 5 times, you'll be in a completely different place.
And if you think about it, that's how you inhale a cigarette, really. You inhale in, you hold it, and then you breathe out slowly, don't you, generally? Well, you're
just doing it without.
So you're relaxing yourself without the cigarette.
Yeah. And so that's a really good process for it. Mm-hmm. So the other thing you can do box breathing, which is 4 breaths in, hold for 4 breaths out, hold when you're empty for 4. That's the hard bit, is holding when it's empty. But again, it's just gets your nervous system back grounded down. And that's the one I use when I go to sleep, because I find that just really calming for me. And just the counting, and you can do counting. If you can't do 4, you can do 3, but it's just the box breathing. So 3 in, hold for 3, 3 out, hold for 3. That makes sense?
Yeah. So instead of counting sheep.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, and that works. And again, I usually sort of do maybe 5 rounds of that, and then I'm just like, I'm gone.
So nice.
So we have a go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. So that's sort of really the everyday breathing, and just being very conscious of your breathing. So at any point, if you could just try to remember, and like I say, if you can link it to something that you're doing, so putting the kettle on, washing up, just try and link that with, I'm going to now do some conscious breathing, and you will find a difference. And things start clearing as well. So things that you've been stressing about, you'll find you may just find the solution to it. It's a very strange process because it has such an effect on your nervous system. Things just start to move in your life. So the 9D breathwork, so if I just talk a little bit about that. So this was, I just had sort of an epiphany really. I pressed a link on Facebook, did a 9D session with this guy called Brian, and I've been doing personal development for years and years and years, never really found anything which just like really got me. Did this one session and I was just like, oh my God, this is it. This is my purpose in life. And it has just made such a difference. So 18 months, 2 years, it's 2 years now. I did all the training, and now we do 9D breathwork. So 9D is 9 different dimensions of sound. So you've got his voice, so they're all recorded, and you put the earphones on, which we'll show you in a minute, and the breathing is the main part, but listening to the 9 different dimensions of sound also, this is like the woo-woo bit of it, it gets to different elements of your body. So what you're trying to do is when you're breathing deep and slow and very deep into your belly, then and listening to the soundtrack, you get into your theta state, which is the state just before you go to sleep. And that means that you can then access your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind does all of your thinking for you. You don't even realise. So 85 to 95% of your decisions that you make normally is from your from your subconscious mind.
True. So like those meditations where you get sometimes those guided meditations with this hiccup,
Yeah.
like frequency. So they're really good.
Yeah, so you're getting all of that. So you'll get the guided meditation, you get the frequency, you've got binary beats in there, you've got affirmations, you've got other different sound waves and lots of different things up to 9, which you can ask me what they all are and I can't remember. So it's all on my website. But it is amazing. So we're going to do a little one today.
Yeah.
It's only 25 minutes. Normally they're about an hour and hour 15.
That's quite long.
So it's a long time. Normally you're laying down as well on a yoga mat or on a bed or whatever you want to, however you're doing it.
Fine, if you like that.
You can lay on the floor, but maybe not. And yeah, and then you just put the earphones on. And we usually use mask as well. So you're totally isolated in there. And there's a couple of breath holds in there, which again is really good for clearing out. We do a couple of screams, but we're very British, and British people don't seem to scream. And sadly, I get quite excited when people cry, because it just means that you're somatically letting go of all of the stress that you've been holding on to, and you haven't had to say anything. So, I love all the CBT, and that you can, all the talk therapy, but sometimes you don't want to keep going over the same thing. Whereas this, you listen, you're in your own little world, and you let out what you want to let out, and what your body wants to let out. And I've had people who are their lives have just changed completely from it. So it is really powerful.
Yeah.
So today we're going to do Unstoppable, which is only 25 minutes, so it's a shorter one. But I think it's quite relevant because you are unstoppable. You may think that you can't give up. You may think that, your circumstances, I'll give up next week when I'm not so stressed. You can do it now. You just need to believe in yourself and let go, and just make that difference, and just do something slightly different. And half the time it's because it's either habit that we just pick it up because it's what we do, whereas you can do something else, and that's your choice. And I know it's easier said than done. But also sometimes it's because you're stressed, and a lot of the time you haven't got any control over those things that you're stressing about. And if you can just try and break it down You know, it does make a difference. So I'm not saying it's going to get rid of all your stress, because I'm not a witch. Yeah. So should we have a go?
Yeah.
I was going to say, so what would you do? You have people come for sessions, I'm guessing, with you.
Yes.
And how much do you charge?
So I charge £45.
For an hour session.
What is 2 hours?
It's 2 hours. Wow.
So yes,
Are you doing them out of Alicia's coffee shop still?
Alexis.
Alexis.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
Alicia.
above Alexis's coffee shop and and Totnes, and I go to people's houses as well. So what works out really well is if I've got quite a few ladies who have got loads of friends who want to do it. So you go to their house, and then just people just scattered around. How it looks like, bodies just.
If there was a group of you, would you charge less?
So I normally do 45, and then but the person who is hosting it gets it for free.
Okay.
So you could split it across all your friends or just you.
So 45 split between the people that are there? Or
No,
45
no, it's 45 each.
Each. And
45 each, but one free.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. Find out more about this, you can contact me on www.breathworkjourney.co.uk.